eyes opened, whose hearts have been opened. Whoa! We can preach to you that there is life assurance. This world that we live in today is so conscious of insurance policies that everybody's a striving, whoa, to leave. They're striving to leave all they can for their families, and that's human nature. But I want to preach to you today that what we should be more concerned about than any other thing is life assurance. Whoa! I hear the record. It says and reads like this, and let me get it just as good as I can. Whoa! My sheep hear my voice. Now let me pause right there. There's no period there, but I want to break it down so simple to you. Whoa! Who is my sheep? And that's who Joshua was talking to in that day when he said, you choose this day. He was talking to the children of God and telling them to stay away from idols, to stay away from these things that will cause us trouble. Whoa! And they promised that old man that day that they would choose the Lord, and they would follow him. And listen to what he did. He went out under a big oak tree. Whoa, Brother Ray! And he had them to set up a stone, and that stone had meaning. What is the stone today? Whoa, Jesus Christ! And him crucified for the sin of the world. And listen, children, he said, whoa, you promise that you'll obey the Lord, and that you'll follow him, and that you'll serve him the rest of your days. And they made that commitment to him. They didn't follow it from that day forward, but at least they made the commitment. And those that were living tried to serve the Lord. Whoa! And then old Joshua did something. My children, he did what we are gathered together here today to remember these people. At the age of 110, old man Joshua gave up the ghost and left. That's what we're going to do. We're going to give up the ghost after a while, and we're going to leave. And the people that know us right now are not going to know us anymore. But the works that we do, they're going on in. They'll follow us. But if they be the works of iniquity, what will happen to them? They'll be burned up. But the good that you do, I'm talking about the spiritual good. You can't do any good unless it's a spiritual good. Whoa! Old man Joshua gave up the ghost, but he had an insurance that money can't buy. I call it assurance. Whoa! My sheep hear my voice. And what do these sheep do? What do I know? I know them. People in today's world, they don't like for you to talk about how much you know, but God said, I know them. My sheep, who are they? They're the folks that have been down to the banqueting house. They're the people that have been down to the foot of mercy. They're people who got in trouble on account of their sin. They're people who were drawn by the loving kindness out of the field of sin. Whoa! Those people have an assurance of policy. Not insurance now. Assurance. How have they got it? Whoa! He says, these sheep, they do follow me. And there's another place in there that said, a stranger they won't follow. Whoa! And what will I do if they follow me? Why, I'll give them eternal life, and there's your assurance. There's just two places to go to hold the whole human family. One is to that eternal heaven. Whoa! The everlasting kingdom. The other is eternal punishment in the lake that burns and burns and burns and burns. And the soul of every human being that's ever been born on this earth or ever will be born is going to one place or the other. Whoa! The Bible speaks of two ways. And it says that there's one way. And then it tells you that straight is the gate that leads into this narrow way. But broad is the gate that leads into this broad way. And it says, to the straight gate there's few that be that find it. How did you find it? Whoa! I'll tell you how I found it. I found it one day, the first time in my life. I found it in a missionary Baptist church. And here you are saying, whoa, brother, what are you doing in a regular Baptist church? Well, I can tell you that it's simply the first time I felt the touch of the Lord's Spirit in my life was in a youth meeting in a missionary Baptist church where we had gathered not for the purpose of, I didn't gather there for the purpose of serving the Lord. I didn't gather there for the purpose of getting down on my knees and talking to the Lord. I gathered there to have a big time. Because in my day, that was a good place to go for a party. Whoa! Let me tell you now, children, how that can be. The man that was in charge of that service that day, in my mind, was just as good as any old regular Baptist preacher that ever walked. But, children, I didn't gather there for that purpose. That's the purpose I want to tell you. I gathered there to have fun because there was where young people gathered. But I'm not condemning the missionary Baptist church. Don't get that impression. I gathered there for a different reason. So the Lord hit me, touched my heart when they were singing Life is Like a Mountain Railroad. Whoa! I could see who the engineer was. It touched me deep. I never was the same person again. Never was the same person again. Does that mean that I stayed on my knees? No. Well, there were things of this world I wanted. There were things of this world I enjoyed. And I kept going contrary to that spirit. Oh, to make a long story short, that spirit followed me over vale and hill. And it guided and led and finally convicted me. Finally convinced me. You know how we are. We're stubborn. We're self-willed. But the Spirit had its way in my life and drew me out of that sinful nature and put me in the church of the living God. Put me in the church of the living God. I've been happy here. And like old Joshua, I promised the Lord when he asked those people in his day, now you choose. You choose. And I chose after being drawn from the field of sin. Whoa! With all within me, I chose to follow the Lord. And I've never been sorry. Listen, old men and old women, young men and young women. Well, it's time you make a choice. If God has worked in your life, let me tell you something for sure. Indecision will bring no decision, but it'll be a permanent decision. The longer you put it off, you've got no promise of tomorrow. And when you keep pushing it back and telling Jesus, wait till a later time, wait till a more convenient time, well, you may die and leave this world. And then you've made a choice by your indecision.
That's true.
You've made a choice. Why? Because of your inactivity. Because of your saying, wait, there's a few more things I want to accomplish. There's a few more things I want to do. And if I do them, the brethren will frown on it. Listen, children, I want to make a statement. Come as you are. If God is drawing you, if God is speaking to you, come as you are. I'll guarantee you won't remain that way. Whoa, my Savior, when you're sincere and honest, and that Spirit's working in your life, He'll dress you up, and you'll move out on His promises. And His promises are sure, they're steadfast, they're unmovable. Whoa, I can't promise these brethren, and they wouldn't have it anyhow. I can't promise you a bed of roses, but I'll tell you what I can promise you. Whoa, I can't promise you that you'll never have any trouble, because in a sense, when you get in the old church, your troubles just start. Why? Because you sincerely want to live a life of peace. You sincerely want to live a life of service to God, and included in that is a service to man.
Yes, it is.
It's a service to your community. Whoa! And every time you make a move, somebody will criticize it, and somebody will damn it, and somebody will condemn it. But children, keep your eye on the one that saved your soul. Keep your eye on the rock. Keep your eye on your decision. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they do follow me, and I give unto them eternal life. Isn't that good enough for you? Oh, good enough to die on, good enough to die with, good enough to live here while you're here, and good enough to tell your children. The ark. You read about the ark. Why did God say, build that ark to Noah? Well, that represented another time that I want to preach to you a minute on of Christ. Why, He said to you, pitch it within, pitch it without. That's the way His children are. They're pitched without and they're pitched within. And I'm telling you now the difference between us and the world. We are pitched within before we're pitched without. If you pitch from without and don't have pitching from within, well, you stand alone. And God has not promised you anything. You've done it in your name. But we're not here this morning to talk about what we do in our name. We're talking about what can we do in the name of the Lord.
Amen.
Choose you this day. Oh, make up your mind that He is my God and He is my Lord, and I'm going to follow Him, and I'm going to dedicate my life to Him if it be His will, through His tender mercy, through His compassion. Whoa, you'll be a fit subject when life closes for you, when the journey comes to an end. It will be going home day. In the month of May, our children gather in all of the schools of the land, and they hear the commencement pronounced that they're graduating from high school, 8th grade. Whoa, I'm pronouncing to you today that when we that have been born again, we the sheep that hear the voice, we that have been promised eternal life, when we hear that pronouncement, come home, it's commencement for us. It's graduation day. It's going home day. All the pilgrims that died in the faith, going home time. They heard that, choose you this day. You brethren understand what I've said.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, when you preach choose you this day, understand what you mean. Don't throw it out to the dogs. Why? Don't throw it out to the hogs. The Bible's plain on it. Because they'll turn and rend. You don't supposed to cast this out before swine.
Right.
But cast it out to people of this congregation who have made the commitment to Jesus, who's in His hand, and those of you here, because you're interested, because your life is giving you trouble, and you want to have a better life when this life is over, whoa! I preach just as hard as I can. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. The church didn't say that. The church is only a home for those kinds of people. Well, there's never been any saving efficacy in the church. But I found it to be a good home while passing and sojourning here.
Yeah.
And I found that my brothers and sisters that are truly my heartfelt religion is that they've got Jesus in their life. They've got Jesus on their bond. And they're constantly in touch with Him through the medium of prayer. Whoa! And He answers them by the medium of the Spirit. And they, while sitting in many lonely hours and many lonely places, they can meditate on the goodness of God, and they can see the relationship, and some of us can, I'm sure. Whoa! Jump and leap like the hart on the mountain. Hey, children, wouldn't be anywhere else today. You couldn't lull me into another place today. This is it, Brother Gerald. He's overcome me with the power of God and freed me to preach the unsearchable riches of the kingdom. Whoa! My voice, it'll stand the test of time right now, but later on it might get a little bit thick. But today it's free, and God is in my life, and I feel Him, and I have made the choice. Choose you this day. I made that choice.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I got up by faith this morning, thinking about the little church here, and asking God, whoa, God, when I go to that church, would you bless me to preach in such a way that people can understand? Will you bless me to face my congregation? Will you bless me to just pour it out so slow and so plain that even the smallest one in the house can hear? And if you've got the spiritual ear, I'm not talking about the natural ear. Whoa, the spiritual ear.
That's right. Yeah.
If you've got that ear, you can hear.
That's right.
You can make a choice.
That's right.
Today,
Yeah, it is.
did they all holler amen? You can make that choice today.
Amen. Amen.
If you've heard that voice, you've got that spiritual ear, and if you've got that spiritual eye, if you can see afar off. And the further you can see, the thing that you'll see the plainest of all, Jesus Christ hanging on the cross.
Amen.
For somebody else? No, 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 no. For just old regular Baptist? No, 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 no. For me, apply it to the individual. Because when he said something about the ark, he said, go thou into the ark. He didn't say, he said, come thou into the ark. He didn't say, come into the ark. In my opinion, if he'd have said that, everybody could have come into the ark. But he didn't say that. He said to Noah, come thou into the ark. Listen, sometimes it's just one little word. One little word that throws the thing a killer. And I've always been taught that the closest thing to the truth is counterfeit still. If it's not truth, it's counterfeit, no matter how close it is to the truth. But that's what's got the world in such a condition, children. You wonder why the world is like it is. The Bible tells you it'll wax worse and worse. Yet there's a paradox. Why do we send our children to school? Why do we try to educate them for a better life? That's the natural thing. There's the difference. Some other church that you know might be trying to educate them for heaven. I never did do that in the classroom. I never did try to educate them for the ministry. I never did try to educate them for church membership. Whoa! That's God's work!
Yeah.
Is that plain enough, children?
Yeah, that's plain.
That's God's work. You and I, if we feel the loving Spirit in our life, we can pray mightily to the Lord, and He has promised us one thing. He'll hear our cries. I have a preacher friend. That's William Forrest. Today. I've heard that preacher friend preach. He said the Lord got a hold of me when I was playing cards. I had a good poker hand. And some people jumped on him and said, Lord, don't preach that. I thought the Lord saved people from their sin and not in them. He said, I didn't say He saved me. He got a hold of me. He got a hold of me.
Amen.
Listen, children, there's nothing too hard for the Lord.
Oh,
Look at the cross. Am I taking it?
yeah.
Look at the cross. There that day, 3 people hanging there on the cross, 2 of them robbers and thieves. And Jesus Christ, the Savior of mankind, whoa! His death there that day. Look at it. One of those thieves died there on that cross in sin.
That's right.
He died right there in sin. Another one of those thieves died to the love of sin. Right there that day. And God gave him a promise. And I'm preaching to you that choose you this day. When you put your whole trust in God, choose you this day. And Jesus died for sin. The 3 things right there that the world of mankind would do well to take heed of. Now, I couldn't preach any stronger. I couldn't preach under the influence of the power of God any better. If I lived 110 years, I'd be 110 like old man Joshua lived. But remember, Joshua had the way of all of us, the way of all of you. Just as sure as you're born into this world, you're born to die. And if you've only got one birth, and that's the natural birth, you're going to die and die and die. But if you've got the second birth, the one that you can't give yourself, the one that you had no choice of, the one that you couldn't have said, now, just give me natural, let me be born again. That's what it is. Right here's a man that I never heard him talk on his new birth. I bet you, if we sat and talked about it, his would be like that. Jesus taught him and taught him strongly. I am the way. I'm the truth. I'm the light. And when you come to accept that, you're born again.
That's right.
Fully persuaded.
Amen.
Give your life to God. All the time He's drawing and you're with pull. Then you begin to run. Lord, will you have me now? Will you have me now?
The wedding takes place. Wedding over there.
Right here in
Oh.
deep in it, Adam.
In the light.
Feel as good as ever felt in my life.
Good. Good to hear, brother.
Feel as free as I felt in my life. And I feel within all that's in me, without doubt, that this is the doctrine of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That He is the cornerstone of it. He's the rock of it. He's the door of it. He's the greatest physician that ever lived. And He is the greatest shepherd that ever lived. Shepherd of the sheep. And my sheep hear my voice. And if you claim to be a sheep and you're not following Him, you're not following what the book says.
Well done. Good doctor. Well done. Thank you for coming.
Feel good. Feel good. Feel hot, but it's got the power and the Spirit of God, and it's a sweetness. Sweetness to me. To spend and to be spent. Why? Because I saw a star. I saw a star. It was called a day star. It sprang from on high. And He said the night's far spent. In your life, is the night far spent? It's a time for the day star to spring up in your life. Why? Because your life, like mine, is a bubble upon the water. Whether you're 80 years old, 50 years old, 60 years old, or 25, or 18. My sheep hear my voice. And I know them. And they do follow me. And I give unto them what? The greatest promise that man has ever known. Eternal life. Only one place to go, and the fruits we'll enjoy forever. And let me tell you something else about this. We're talking about heaven. And heaven has a street there. And guess what that street's made of? Pure gold. And men fight for it here. Strive for it. Die for it. But someday it's going to mean so little to us that we'll walk on it. Think of that. Now there's a gate to it, and that's a straight gate. The world's got a gate too. It's a broad gate. I'm glad there's gates. You know, we commonly think of a gate as something that you walk down the road and there's a gate there and it closes off. But I'm telling you, we do this just the opposite spiritually. We got a gate first. And you got to go in the gate first. Once you get through the gate, you can't bargain about what you're going to take in there. You can't make any bargains or no deals. You can't say, Lord, let me keep my money. Let me keep this or let me keep that. I tried that, buddy. Not with money. I didn't have any. But I tried to bargain with the Lord. And I come up short. I come up short. And I found out that all my good dues was what the Bible said, filthy rags. Couldn't have put them any cleaner. And I finally had to settle like this. Oh God, save my soul. or I perish. I found out that this puny me, I can't do it on my own. I've made a wreck of my life. I'm so sin sick, God. I'm so sin sick.